they don't want to deal with it. How much more is that true if you're an archdiocese or a Catholic Charities?
Exponentially more. And you used a word earlier, Joe, which me is the real crux of the issue. It's complacency of, as individuals, organizations, we already have our solutions in place. And as you just said, to do anything different is a huge hassle. Just doing it as an individual or as a family would be a lot of work. To do a wholesale change as an organization, especially a larger organization like a diocese, that would be monumental. So it is not easy. There's no quick solution to this, but that doesn't alleviate the problem. That doesn't dismiss our responsibility to be more intentional with our financial relationships.
So, okay. So what are the better options? What do you recommend, at least on a personal level? I went to local credit union, hoping to sort of do the opposite end of the spectrum of big business. Local focus is kind of how we decided to go. But what would you recommend people consider when making decisions along these lines?
That is a great start, Joe. And there are thousands of banks across the country. And I bet, hundreds of them would be wonderful fits for you, me, any of your listeners in this. I obviously haven't taken the time to evaluate every one, but starting with, your local community bank is a great start. I know there's some great credit unions out there also, and because of different banking regulations, they can have a further reach. I know there's America's Christian Credit Union. Even though they're headquartered in California, they have a national reach. They're very focused on churches and schools, but they can help you as an individual. We're evacuees from Chicago. So I know in Chicagoland, my trusted partner is Wintrust. They have a great network of community banks. But I served on the board of directors of Catholic Charities Chicago with the founder. I know that they stay out of politics. They are a steadfast supporter of Catholic causes throughout the region there. So that's where I have a personal experience with that. Here in Central Indiana, I know that Citizen State Bank, they're smaller than the big banks, but I've got to know the people. I know that they are rock solid in their principles and their values. I'd be very comfortable sending anybody to them. But there's not perfect solutions. So if you need a larger bank, I'm using Fifth Third for some business purposes. I don't think they're perfect, but I know they're a strong supporter of Catholic causes in Cincinnati, here in Indiana, in Chicago. So, I have a clean conscience about using them. But then also it's kind of the question of where are the other banks who should be standing up and says, we want to serve these religious-driven organizations who are being discriminated against. I think it was a massive missed marketing opportunity for other banks to step up when this was in the news, says, we want your business. And I think there's just kind of a herd mentality out there. Let's go along. Well, hopefully we have some growth. I want us to be much more focused and, driving business to these better solutions, whether that's banking, whether that's investing, or our consumer dollars. And there's no quick fix. The other side's been at this for decades. We need to have a very long time horizon to at least stop and at least to push back and have patience and at least start. There is no perfect solution to this, but that doesn't mean that we can be complacent. We at least need to start in small ways.
We're going to run out of time again very quickly here. So let me ask this. Why isn't the Vatican Bank an option for Catholics? What does it take? I know they're scandal ridden. I know that, but it's just the thought of, well, Catholics serving Catholics, Catholics taking care of Catholics, building our own community. Or like, what does it take to start a bank? What I mean, that seems like such a fantastical idea to start a bank to serve the Catholic community. What is it? What goes into that?
Well, that is an option, and I've had discussions about that, but it's a very capital intensive endeavor, and is very highly regulated proposition to do that. So sure, it's a possibility, but it is much easier said than done. It's like, we're going to go create a Catholic institution. But I don't think we necessarily need to do that, because there's plenty of good options out there already. I bet there's a community bank near you that could serve you, and there's probably somebody in your parish that works at that bank. Talk to them first, before we go down the path of doing that. But I'm all for, let's build our own solutions. That's what I'm doing with my business.
Amen. Matthew Mohlman, Executive Director of Monument Legacy Donor Advised Fund, and the author of this article over at Crisis Magazine, the JPMorgan's Progressive Anti-Faith Agenda. Really appreciated your insight today. Thank you for being on with us and sharing this. I enjoyed the conversation. God bless you and God love you.
Same to you.
Coming up,
God bless.
We're going to say goodbye to the radio audience, but we're going to stay on for the live video feed and hang out directly with you right now. 50% is a split on big banking. We'll talk about it. So what did you think of today's show? Let's discuss that right now in the After Show. Your take on the After Take. Comment, interact live with me and the team. All you need to do is search for one of our live video feeds on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, LinkedIn, and elsewhere. Simply search for the Station of the Cross, Joe McClain, or A Catholic Take. I'm looking forward to seeing you and interacting with you directly. It all starts right now. It's the After Show.
And we are clear. Welcome to the After Show, everyone.
Did YouTube die?
Yeah, it did, but I restarted it. We're back.
Are we back?
We're back.
Good morning, everybody. We are so back. Are we getting the band back together? Is that what we're doing?
Oh, yeah.
Is it the same feed, or do I have to,
different feed. It's a different stream, unfortunately. But we regained quite a few people.
Well, good morning, everybody. Praise be to God. JPMorgan Chase. I'm very curious. Is there anybody hanging out with us this morning who banks at Bank of America? Like, I don't know how you live with yourself, to be honest with you. We used to bank. We had our mortgage with Bank of America. We fired them too. We got our mortgage moved, and we're like, bye. Jay Ray is in the house. Good morning to you, Jay Ray. Praise be to God. Glad you are on the team today. Thanks for doing it. Eileen, I see you there. Let's see. Sharon, good morning to you. Paul, good morning to you. Damon, good morning to you. Yvonne, by the way, happy birthday to Joseph, your son. Today is Joseph's birthday. Praise be to God, Joseph. July 6th. What a great day. I'm going to be praying for you today. Thank you for hanging out with us. We appreciate having you on the team. So we did lose Facebook, or YouTube rather. And Patty said she was having issues with Facebook as well. I'm not sure what that's about, but I'm guessing it's okay now. But you can always hang out. You can always catch the live video feed at thestationofthecross.com/ACT. And the live video feed is still active. Is it still active on ICR? I think
should
so.
be. Should be active everywhere. I think it was only a YouTube that conked out. All I had to do was restart that stream, and it did start a new feed, unfortunately, a new link, but it did restart. Mike
K in the house, USAA Naval Federal Credit Union here. Woo! I used to have an account with the Naval Credit Federal Credit Union. I was telling my kids this the other day. When I was young, years ago, like decades ago, actually, many, many moons ago, when I went to the Marine Corps, I was pretty naive and ignorant about so many things. And one of them was finances. I'm going to be honest with you. Like in high school, they make you take a somewhat of a financing course. Like you have to learn how to write a check. You remember that? Like I didn't have a clue about anything. I really, really didn't. And I remember when I was 17 when I enlisted in the Marine Corps. And I remember like I I think we're getting ready to graduate boot camp, or maybe it was just after boot camp. I think it was when I went to Marine Combat School. They were giving me checks. Like they would cut a check, and I had to go figure out how to go to the grocery store and cash that thing. But I remember, I think I showed up to it was Tustin Marine Corps Air Station. It was after combat school, and maybe it was when I went to Millington, Tennessee, or something like that. But anyway, long story short, I show up and they're like, "Go to the bank and set up an account." I'm like, "Oh, okay," because they were going to do direct deposit. And they didn't want to issue checks anymore. And I thought, this is a good thing. So I show up. I didn't have a clue, not a single clue. So they just gave me a savings account. I didn't even know the difference between a savings account and a checking account. No clue, none, zero, zilch, nada. And nobody was explaining it to me. So they just give me the account. They start direct depositing. I didn't know that what the differences were and why one would choose one or versus the other. And then I just remember running into trouble the whole time. Like I couldn't take out enough money. You know, if you're going to party on a weekend, you got to have all of your money. You can't leave any in the bank, for crying out loud. Like that's just silly. You got to spend all of it in one single night. So nonetheless, that was one issue. The other issue was I got all this credit from the Navy Federal Credit Union. They're like, here, have some credit at the base exchange. No problem. Go buy, son. You need to buy stuff. Go buy stuff. I'm like, okay, sure. And I bought the stupidest things. Like just wasting money. Just so stupid. Anyway, that bit me in the backside. Let me just tell you, those are bad choices that you have to, you have, the chickens come home to roost, let's just say. And they did. And I had to fix all of that. It took years to fix all of my dumb choices. So I have a long history of dumb things that choices that I made in my life. Yvonne says, I can't remember if Joe shares with Bill, my husband, or Joseph, my son. So sorry if I get it wrong. Talking about birthdays. My birthday, unfortunately, is tomorrow. So today is Joseph's day, not mine. It's your Joseph's day, Yvonne. Happy birthday to Joe. Praise be to God. In fact, I remember my wife just being like, when we were trying to buy a house, we just got married. We were trying to buy a house, and the bank was like, yeah, your husband, not so good. His credit, not so good. They almost didn't give us a loan because of me. But by God's grace, we were able to get it done, and we were able to correct all of my issues. And no, praise be to God, I got good credit, I'm happy to say. Yvonne says it's your husband's birthday. What? Today's not Joseph's birthday. It's your husband's birthday, Yvonne. Yikes. Awkward. Happy birthday to Yvonne's husband, nonetheless. That's all right. I'm a little fascinating fact. I love other people's birthdays. I loathe my own, just so you know. It's the worst day. My birthday and the last day of the year, 2 worst days on the calendar for me. I loathe them. It's deep depression. Deep depression. KP Jack 06 is in the house. Good morning, Joe. Another July baby. Mine is coming up on the 11th. Oh, wow. Lots of July birthdays flying around today. Bingo Bongo. Well, there you go, folks. Rhaegar 82. Sharon is on the team, obviously over on YouTube, the YouTube 2.0. We're taking YouTube 2.0 today because we lost our first feed. That's too bad that we lost our first feed. I saw Brian Harkins over there earlier. Sci-Fi Mike is in the house. Good morning to you. Savak, S-A-V-A-C-C over on Rumble. Good morning to you. Thanks for being on the team today. Says, what do you think about U.S. Bank? Well, I don't have any experience with U.S. Bank, so I'm not sure what to think about them. But one thing that our guest today, Matthew, said was get to know your bank. It seemed like in all of the people he was talking about, like he recommended, he made it clear that he got to know them. Like he understood who was running them, what their politics were, what they were involved in. Frank Good morning to you. Thanks for being on the team. So I guess get to know your bank. You know, one of the things that we liked when we went to our local credit union to get signed up to start transferring our accounts, we're like, hey, what's your masking policy here? You know, like, hey, do you want me to get the old jabby? What do you think? Want me to mask up? And they're like, nah, you're all right. It's fine. We're like, woohoo! It's like, do you make your employees, you know, do all of those things? Nah, it's fine. No, it's fine. We're like, oh, good. So refreshing. Praise be to God. Damon, welcome to the team. Jay Ray says, we are weary of banks these days because we've seen things going on such a regular basis. Law-abiding citizens having their bank accounts frozen. It's scary. My case is my son Mick's birthday is the 10th. Wow, another July baby. Damon says, like I tell my wife, your birthday is important not only because it's the day God brought you into this world, but without you, your kids wouldn't exist. Also, without you, so many of us would not benefit from your experience, knowledge, and information. Well, of course. Of course, you're right, Damon, but that's beside the point. My birthday is rough. Just like my birthday. So rough. And I have for a very long time, to be honest with you. So, Sharon watched Sound of Freedom. As I said at the top of the hour, I lied to you. Okay. I did not go see Sound of Freedom yesterday, like I said I was going to, because I got the days wrong. Today, I'm going to go see Sound of Freedom. Rachel Jordan's in the house, so my wife and I are going to go see it at 3-ish Central Time today. So we'll be able to tell you more about it. Sharon says the movie rocked her world. Now, Sharon, no spoilers, okay? No spoilers alert. But was there anything that really shocked you? Like, was there something that was just really shocking? Was it graphic or was it just story plot kind of thing? Let me know what your thoughts were there, Sharon. Anybody who's seen the film, let me know. We have said several people comment in the back chat saying that they had gone to see the film and like give it a rating. 5 stars. So how many stars out of 5? What's your rating? Let us know. I don't even know what you're talking about. Bingo bango. Bongo? Is it bongo? Bingo? Bongo.
Bingo bongo.
What's the story there? Sharon gives it 5 stars. Sound of Freedom, 5 stars. Wow.
Is that out of 5 or out of 10, though?
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. Sweet. Okay.
5 out of 5.
I wasn't listening because I was talking with Bingo Bango about language and word origin.
Oh, okay. I'm like, you know, that's part of my difficulty is when you are as a knuckle dragger as I am, you can't pick up on the nuances of certain conversations happening in the chat.
Well, it's going
feature
fast,
so
and if you miss one comment, then it throws the entire thing off, so don't worry.
That's my point, you know,
Yeah,
and it's like all of which is above my skill level or pay grade. So,
well, you're busy hosting a show. I'm just here producing, doing nothing, sitting here. So, I can converse with everyone.
You're just doing nothing all day long.
I can chat with everyone.
Okay. Let me tell you, the show wouldn't exist if Jake weren't sitting there. Yeah. About the origins of words. Ooh, what's that called? What is the origin of words called? It's called, what's the fancy $10 word?
Philology.
Philology.
Like that?
See?
That's Tolkien was a philologist.
The secret to great radio is having a producer smarter than you. It works every time. Every time. Frank says...
Having your head stuffed with random trivia doesn't necessarily make you smarter.
Random trivia is so powerful. That is your superpower, as they say. Frank says, even Rotten Tomatoes had to give Sound of Freedom an 85. They had to. They were required to by law to give it an 85. Studebaker's on the team. It's etymology nerds.
Etymology, yeah. Philology is more the study of a language. So,
got it. Rachel says, back in the 70s, my dad, being a school teacher, marched my mother and us 5 girls down to the teachers' credit union and got each of us savings accounts. Been with them ever since. Wow. That's impressive. The only thing I've ever done since the 70s that consistency is breathe, eat, and sleep. That's it. That's the only 3 things I've ever done consistently since the 1970s. Outside of that, nothing has remained the same. Sharon says, it was well done movie. I did not realize the excellent extent of global slavery in our world. Yeah, it's a big deal. Such a big deal. Sci-Fi says, I bank with local federal credit union and whoever happens to own my mortgage. Because, you get these deals, right? You see these deals. Like we did that once, CatholicMortgage.com or something like that. And we were trying to support a Catholic charity by switching our mortgage to them, refinancing. And then they just simply sold it to somebody else. And we're like, who owns our mortgage now? But now we've swapped our mortgage over to the federal, not the federal. We're not with the federal credit union. We're the local credit union. And there are downsides. I mean, you do lose some convenience factors, right? Like I got to tell you, one of the pet peeves I have with the local credit union that we have is that when I want to deposit a check via my mobile device, which is brilliant. Like, brilliant. Where you been my whole life? Like, that is so awesome. I don't have to go to a bank to deposit a check. I do it right on my phone. This is brilliant. But for whatever reason, the credit union has a very, very specific way in which they want that done. And if you don't do it to the nth degree, they will deny and decline your check. I mean, like, I could literally... Like almost every other institution, it's so easy. It's probably too easy, not to be honest with you. But not this credit union. It's like it has to be done very precisely or else. And it's just the most annoying thing ever, to be honest with you. But other than that, they've been great. The other real downside is the convenience factor of just the branch locations. Like leaving JPMorgan Chase meant like there was a branch right across the street. Super convenient, super easy, And to go to the credit union, I got to drive much further. It's not easy to get to. It's not convenient to get to. But by the glory of God, I almost never have to go. So that makes that, doable anyway. But nonetheless, we just really felt like we needed to fire big banks. So we fired JPMorgan and we fired Bank of America. I'm not completely out of the woods in Big Bank yet. There's still one more step I still have to do. I did try to fire them for my LLC, but I don't do checking with Big Bank on my LLC. I do a credit card with them, but I tried to get another credit card, and then that didn't work. I guess I made the wrong choice on who to go with, so now I'm still stuck trying to figure that out. But I'm working on it. Tim H. is on the team today. Says Jake is already smarter than Joe. Just imagine how smart Jake will be once he grows up. Wow, Tim H for the burn. Wow, that's some good passive aggressive.
If that day ever happens,
right there. Woo!
If that day ever happens,
roasted. Jake, great job with the troll on YouTube. You may convert him. Praise be to God.
There was a troll.
That's the going rumor.
I didn't even know what that's talking about.
That's the growing rumor. Praise be to God. Anybody else see Sound of Freedom? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts were. Sharon gives it a 5 out of 5. That's pretty big praise, Sharon. Was there anything wrong on a production standpoint? Any campiness? Any preachiness, any poor acting, any poor production quality at all, anywhere in the film at all, any hint of it? Let me know. I'd like to know. Let me know. And it is such a big deal, the global slavery. Now, I think I gave you guys the update on this, but I did reach out to try to get. I did follow up and try to get Eduardo Verástegui, but it's not looking good. And, honestly, I'm not going to hold my breath. But number one. Number two is I talked to my old colleague, Adrian Fonseca, Saturday. I got to hang out with him a little bit. And he got to interview Eduardo, which was like, I was high-fiving him. I'm like, congratulations. We finally got Eduardo nailed down. Like one of us did. Praise be to God. So I was so happy he got him, but then he was like, it wasn't a good interview. He wasn't on time, blah, blah, blah. So all these things. So I don't know. I guess now I'm like, I almost don't want to interview him. I still want to interview him, but at the same time, I've like built up such I got to interview Eduardo someday over the past several years that it might be anticlimactic and I might be depressed over it. So I think I may not pursue it anymore, so I could, the idea of it would be greater than the reality. You know what I mean? Damon says, my parents saw it opening night. My dad commented that everyone should go see it. Oh, wow. Okay. Sci-Fi Mike says, I bank with local federal credit union and whoever, oh yeah, I already read that one. Whoever happens to own your mortgage. I think you should move your mortgage, Sci-Fi. Get somebody who knows what it is. So I'm the troll for saying the simple truth that the word of God is derived from Old Norse and Gudin, also known as Odin. I'm not going to go on that limb with you there, Bingo Bango. Sorry, buddy. Simply not going to go that far out on a limb. Doesn't pass the smell test. But there you go. Whether or not you're a troll, I don't know. I can't say. I can't speak to that. But those kind of comments about things that just don't pass the smell test, like Old Norse, yeah, probably not. Now, you might say that there could be some links from that Old Norse language back to Semitic languages. You might make that point, and I could see something along those lines. But you don't have to be a scripture scholar to know that all of the oldest copies of the text go back to Hebrew and Greek, to be sure.
I think you might just be talking about the English word God being derived from it, just like our we use Sunday, Wednesday.
There's so much nuance in the conversation that I'm not picking up on. Just like it's impossible.
I don't think he's trying to say that Catholics worship Odin. I think he's just saying, the English word God means
Jake for the rescue.
I don't know. That was my reading of it. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense because we use French and Italian say variations of Deo from the Latin. So.
Yeah, we get words from all over the place, right? A lot of German, a lot of Latin, a lot of words that come to the
we
English
say
language
Easter
in weird ways.
in English instead of a variation of Pascha or Pasch.
We say Jesus instead of Yeshua.
Yeah, well that comes from the same origin. Whereas instead of saying Deo or Dio or something like that, we say God because that's the word that English is more familiar with as being the deity.
Nancy points out Eduardo Verástegui gives much better interviews in Spanish than in English. Yeah, probably not surprising since he, that's his, native language. But he speaks very good English. And maybe he's just not as comfortable. I don't know. It's hard to say. I've heard him give some great interviews in English, for sure. So certainly capable. He's also considering a run for presidency. So he's, starting to get a little weird over there. I'm guessing when you ramp up for a presidential run, things get more interesting in your life, and maybe not in great ways. Bingo, clarifies. Yes, the word mea culpa. Bingo, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. I was misinterpreting what the sentiment was there. Thanks for clarifying. Nancy says he just announced that he may be either running for office in Mexico or starting a new political party. Interesting. That'd be another interesting conversation. That's more of the conversation I want to have, to be honest with you. I want to talk about Mexico. I want to talk to him about Mexico, the heart of Mexico, the future of Mexico, the reconquista of Mexico. Just like there needs to be a reconquista of France, we need a reconquista of Mexico. And I believe that if there were a incredibly focused, huge effort on behalf of the church to re-evangelize Mexico, like go for the gusto. It would be like a nuclear explosion going off in North America and around the world. It would be truly, truly amazing. I do not believe it's going to be a lay-run effort, though. All of the talk from lay folks like myself just say it's the age of the laity. The hierarchy must lead the charge. The laity have to do their part, but the charge must be led by the hierarchy. Must be. And the fact that the world is getting worse and not better is a result of a hierarchy not doing their part in that regard. We must desire the conversion of every single soul on planet Earth without exception. We got to stop playing it safe. And did you catch the nuanced word salad coming out of that headline, that story of the new doctrinal chief at the Vatican saying, "Oh yes, marriage between a man and a woman. Oh, marriage is only between a man and a woman. Oh yes, that's all marriage is. But maybe we could bless them in other ways." Is it just me who read it that way, or am I reading too much into that?
I don't think there will be anything official about it. I think it'll just be it'll be like communion in the hand and altar girls and all of this stuff where it just happens and
we're not changing doctrine
and they ignore it.
Yeah, the doctrine's still there. It's still on the books.
But they don't crack down and discipline it.
Yeah, we're just ignoring it. We're just not paying attention to it.
Yep.
We're just doing our own thing. We don't ever have to change doctrine. We just do what we want anyway. Avoiding the very difficult reality of how the Holy Ghost protects Holy Mother Church in doctrine. Well, we just ignore doctrine. Just do what we want. We just avoid the rite. Avoid calling it marriage. Now we can talk. That's basically what he's saying. Manuel Fernandez, pray for his soul. Show notes posted, praise be to God. Would like that interview. I would like that interview too, Sharon. But I'm afraid that if I ever got the interview, it's just not going to be what I want it to be. It's going to be truncated, surface. I want something deep and rich.
Premium content?
What's that?
Premium content?
Premium content.
Special hour-long sit-down interview with you and Eduardo?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I guess I could share this with the insider since I have not shared it anywhere else, but I'll share it with you guys first. By the way, I had a video go viral yesterday on Instagram, 101,000 views. Like it went to like 90,000 views in less than an hour. And then it's topped off at 101. So it slowed way down after that. But, normally I get like 400 views, maybe 300 views, 200 views. Sometimes I'll get more views, but never 100,000. So that was very interesting to see that video go viral on Instagram yesterday. And especially in light of the fact that Meta announced that they're competing with Twitter directly now. Although I haven't quite been able to figure out exactly what that's supposed to look like. But if any of you know, let us know. Producer and agent. Jake, producer and agent. Are you like a secret agent?
Agent.
What are we talking about here?
Agent of what? Agent Orange? I don't know.
Do you wonder sometimes whether or not maybe it's possible that the real culprit behind the cocaine mystery at the White House is the aliens they've been hiding from us the whole time? That they're keeping the aliens at the White House and giving them baggies of cocaine to keep them alive in secret.
This sounds like
that might be
this sounds like an amazing
plausible?
B movie, Cocaine Alien. This would be great. It's like Scarface but with aliens. I'm down for this.
Scarface, but with aliens and at the White House. Say hello to my little friend.
Saturn Vice.
Batches? We need no stinking batches. Remember, that was back in the day when Al Pacino could do other people besides Al Pacino. Good times. Like he could pretend to be somebody other than himself. Brian Harkin says, way cool about the video, Joe. Premium content, amen. Rhaegar82 says, who wins the MMA match, Musk or Zuckerberg? Musk. I've got to be Musk. Come on.
Zuckerberg's got those lizard powers, though, under the skin.
Does he?
Probably.
Musk can afford a
shapeshifter.
better trainer.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, with Zuckerberg, he's only somewhat of a billionaire these days. He can't afford great training. Musk, on the other hand, he probably bought MMA just to train for the fight. Oh, he just purchased the whole thing. Aliens love cocaine, says Sci-Fi Mike. Strawberry ice cream, too. He says, I think most statements are followed by the maniacal laugh. That's hilarious. We should put it up. We should maybe do a poll. Who wins, Musk or Zuckerberg? All right. So you talk about sit-down videos. Now, I would offer that, by the way, if I could get an hour, even 45 minutes of Eduardo's time, we would go to him, sit down, produce a high-quality, high-level video interview, and we'd use it as premium content. I would definitely do that. I offered that same thing, by the way. Very recently, I've offered that same thing to Taylor Marshall, to go and set up a time near him where we could sit down and talk about his, I don't know if you saw, but he released his presidential platform. He is not running for president in 2024, just so you know. He's not. He recognizes that he would need to have more time to do more foundational work before it would become plausible. And it's interesting because in his video that he released on July 4th, he actually answered one of my big questions. When I heard that Taylor Marshall was running for president, the first question I had in my mind was, is it even remotely possible he could have a chance at winning? The answer to which I had to believe is no, not even remotely possible. So if it is not remotely possible that you have a chance at winning, is it ethical to raise money, to take donor dollars, if you never actually have a chance at winning? He actually answers this question in his 12-point platform as a presidential candidate that he released July 4th, just the other day. So fascinating. I love that he did that. And he said because he does not feel he stands at least a chance to win, he did not want to take a single dime from anybody, which he didn't do. So hats off, kudos to Taylor Marshall for not doing that. That is truly the high road. And all the more reason why I want to sit down and talk to him about what a authentically Catholic presidential campaign platform would look like. He listed 12 points, but I want to ask about some other issues. So I'd go over those 12, but I would go deeper into some other issues that weren't necessarily listed there. So I reached out to him. I asked him for an opportunity to sit down and record a high-quality video interview, 45 minutes to an hour, where we could have that conversation and we would leverage that as like extra premium content to our insiders. So hoping to get that done. He seemed open to it a month ago when I first approached him. So I don't know. So far, nothing is on the books, but let's just pray and hope that works out, because I'd like to do that. That'd be fun to do. And if there's more opportunities along those lines, then I would definitely increase increase doing that kind of content for sure. I would certainly do that for Eduardo Verástegui. I would certainly consider doing that for Jim Caviezel. I would consider that for Jim Caviezel or even a Mel Gibson. I would consider that, but it would have to be like, it can't just be for like, just, well-known Catholics. Like, that's not the goal. It has to be like really, like this is your best, like your once in a lifetime chance. You got to make the most out of it. It has to be like kind of in that category, because there's expenses involved, time involved, lots of things involved that I wouldn't justify that just for anybody. I'd want to make sure it was at a high level. So I'll let you know. I'll keep you in the loop for sure. All right. Well, there you go, folks. Praise be to God. Great show. Tomorrow on the program, Father Gerald Murray has rebooked. He's going to be on tomorrow, so we'll have that conversation. I don't know. We might have a different conversation as well. I'm working on some other things. We'll see how it all goes. But I will have gone to see The Sound of Freedom. And so I will have an opinion for you tomorrow on July 7th, the date that shall forever remain in infamy, at least in my mind. God love you. God bless you. We'll see you then.